this type of injury, like you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before. And
this is the first time we heard from Caitlin since the team announced on Memorial Day she was dealing with a left quad strain. She would be out for at least 2 weeks.
We were told that Clark was not seen in the open portion of practice by reporters who are on the ground there.
Just watch and absorb it, and it's the same when, I'm not active too. We'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game too. I think just having good perspective is the best way to approach it. Like, yeah, you can be frustrated and whatnot, but, I think the medical team has done a really good job of, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game, but after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up, but more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them.
The face of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, just dropped a shocking injury update, and it's sending shockwaves through the league. With fans outraged, ticket sales crashing, and teammates scrambling, has the WNBA finally pushed its brightest star too far? Today, we dive deep into the injury, the backlash, and what this means for the future of women's basketball. Buckle up. This story is bigger than you think.
Been told so far by the team is that this is actually an injury that was separate from the quad tightness issue, as Caitlin Clark described it earlier in the preseason, that she dealt with before. So it's a little bit of interesting situation given that it was the same leg.
On May 25th, during a high-stakes matchup with defending champs New York Liberty, Caitlin Clark went down clutching her left quad. At first, it seemed minor, just a strain. But by Memorial Day, Indiana Fever confirmed the worst. Their franchise star is out for at least 2 weeks. The diagnosis? A significant quad injury, possibly aggravated from earlier preseason strain.
Was asked when she's expected to come back. She told us she would be reevaluated after the weekend. After that, it would be day by day. The Fever are on the road for 2 road games before coming back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse next Saturday. Lynn telling us she's been a connector between her coaches and teammates. They've gone 1-2 without her, and they'll be without her again this weekend.
Without Caitlin, the Fever have gone 1-2. But the real chaos is hitting the league as a whole. Ticket prices? Down over 60%. A June 7th showdown with Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. Once a marquee event, now discounted to under $15. Entire fan road trips canceled. Social media turned hostile. And fans? Furious.
So I think that's just kind of been the time for me to really find some patience, and I've never been a patient person my entire life, so this has definitely tested me a little bit, but I think it's going to be really good for me. And like I said, I've just tried to approach it in the best way I possibly can. I can't change it.
The girl is spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws this attention.
Player is injured. If the other team knows that a player is injured, they will go at that player.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Caitlin Clark has been targeted since her debut. From flagrant fouls to unnecessary roughness, critics say the league has allowed a culture of aggression, especially from rival rookies like Angel Reese and Dejonai Carrington. Meanwhile, WNBA officials stay silent. No fines, no suspensions, just viral clips and hashtags.
Focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them, and just try to be there for them, I think, has been my focus.
Everything that you guys told us during the offseason about playing quick, playing with pace, pushing the ball up the court, everyone run, they weren't doing that, especially in the last.
For the Fever, one thing to keep in mind is that this is a sort of situation where the next 2 weeks, luckily for them, the schedule is a little bit playing the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, who haven't won yet. So they are trying to hold down the fort for now, while Caitlin Clark will be out.
But beyond physical danger, Caitlin's absence is exposing the league's shaky foundation. Ratings are down. Sponsorship deals are on pause. And even the merchandise market is cooling off. This isn't just a Caitlin problem, it's a league crisis.
We were commenting that she was sick. You could hear it in her voice that she was sick. It seems like at this point, this is the reason why we haven't seen Caitlin at 100%. We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season.
Amid all this chaos, Angel Reese finds herself in the spotlight yet again. While some blame her and others for the harsh treatment of Caitlyn, others argue Reese is just playing tough basketball and that the media is painting a biased narrative. But with fans booing her in recent games, the backlash is real.
There's up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle, and after the game I had some pain and then got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see, but those type of things don't lie, so yeah.
That it's going to be longer than 2 weeks. With them saying a minimum of 2 weeks, I feel like that's kind of just giving us breadcrumbs, just giving us enough information. And I actually don't think that they're going to give more for the sake of Caitlyn. We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season. If you have something going on in your legs, like your legs are actually a huge part of your shooting mechanics, something was thrown off. So if that part of her body was thrown off, it probably threw off the entire mechanic.
When Caitlyn finally addressed the media, her message was calm, but revealing. "I'm not rushing back," she said. "I won't put my future at risk." In those few words, Clark made it clear she won't sacrifice herself to carry the league on her back. And fans? They're standing by her.
Clark's been taking a beating for the last year and a half, and it quickly got physical early in this season, man. There was a lot of games.
The WNBA now faces a harsh reality. Without their star, the league has no backup plan. Games lose hype, storylines collapse, and internal leadership is being called into question. The league can't afford another marketing collapse, and the pressure is mounting. Caitlyn is expected to be reevaluated June 9th, but insiders say it could be longer. So, what happens if she doesn't come back soon, or worse at all this season? Will the WNBA finally change the way it protects its stars? Or will another injury signal the fall of a league too stubborn to evolve? Caitlyn Clark came into this league as a generational player only to be thrown into a war zone disguised as a basketball court. Now sidelined, she watches as her absence reveals the truth. The league was never ready for her. The fans are waking up. The system is cracking. And unless something changes, Caitlyn might not be the last to walk away. What do you think? Should Caitlyn Clark sit out the season? Has the WNBA failed to protect its stars? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because this story isn't over yet. Tonight in the WNBA, Caitlyn Clark drops a jaw-dropping injury update, sending shockwaves across the league. Ticket prices are plummeting, fans are furious, and even Angel Reese's recent antics can't distract from the chaos. Is the league on the verge of collapse? Keep watching. This story is bigger than you think. It started May 25th, when Clark went down during a pivotal game against the Liberty. At first, it was called a minor strain, but by Memorial Day, the Fever confirmed quad injury, out at least 2 weeks. And sources say this wasn't just a tweak, it's serious. Clark's absence didn't just affect Indiana, it rattled the entire WNBA. Ticket prices dropped by over 60%. Major games saw empty stands. Social media erupted, not tuning in if she's out. And suddenly, the WNBA's financial cracks were exposed. This is no minor hiccup, it's systemic. Without Clark, TV ratings and merchandise sales cratered. Sponsors hit pause. The WNBA's revenue model is hyper-dependent on one star, and that's dangerous. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's recent antics have fueled controversy, but now they've been drowned out. Is she a villain or just a scapegoat? Crowds have booed her, but for once, the real story is Clark's absence. In a stunning twist that sent shockwaves across the entire WNBA, Caitlyn Clark has just dropped a bombshell update about her injury, and fans, players, and analysts are all scrambling to process the fallout. After weeks of silence, speculation, and heated debate over her treatment on the court, Clark has finally spoken out, revealing the full extent of her quad injury, and it's far more serious than anyone originally believed. What was once dismissed as a minor tweak has now escalated into a potential long-term setback that could sideline her for several crucial games, or worse, derail her entire rookie season. The announcement triggered an instant meltdown across social media, with fans demanding answers and accountability. Meanwhile, WNBA ticket sales are already plummeting, TV ratings are tanking, and multiple games are being called unwatchable, without the league's biggest draw. Even opposing players like Angel Reese and Shindy Carter, once the center of attention, are now fading into the background as the entire spotlight swings back to Clark. But what's even more shocking? Insiders say Clark's camp is furious with league officials for not doing more to protect her from repeated hard fouls and aggressive targeting. Some are even calling for new league-wide player safety reforms before she returns. With this explosive injury update now public, the future of the WNBA just became incredibly uncertain, and Caitlin Clark's next move could decide everything. This isn't just a personal setback, it's a league-altering moment.